Hi, this is Shar from the Real Kitchen for Real People. I'm glad to be back with you guys, and today I'm going to try to feature um, pie filling. And this will be a sweet potato pie filling so that you could be prepared for the holidays coming up. This is something you can prepare in advance and then, put it in your freezer. And then that day that you want to use it, you can take it out of the freezer that morning of and let it thaw on its own. And then it'll be ready for the pie crust, which I featured in a prior video. But first we're going to have featured the pie filling today. You got 2 eggs. You're going to have 2 large sweet potatoes. It doesn't matter if they're the orange ones or the white ones. I use the orange ones. I prefer those. And you're going to use a half a cup of sugar, a stick of butter, a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a cup of, well, just make it 3/4 to a cup of Carnation evaporated milk. Now these are the ingredients that you need to have ready after your potatoes are done. You're going to take the 2 potatoes and put them in a pot and cover them up with water to just the top of them are covered, and then bring them to a boil, and then just kind of turn your fire down to medium and let them cook until they're tender, until you can stick a fork through them. And then once you can stick a fork through them or a knife through them, then just turn it off and let it set, and I'll show you. Okay, here's my 2 potatoes, and they're boiling, and I'm going to boil them and cook them until they're soft, till the knife can go all the way through. It's not going all the way through quite yet, so I'll check back with you in a minute. When they're finished and ready, I'll get back with you. Stand by. Okay, the potatoes are done, so I'm going to take them out and lay them over here to kind of calm down a little bit. Take them out of the water. Okay. I'm going to lay them over here for about 5 minutes. Let them rest a few minutes. Okay, here's my 2 potatoes. And what I did was cut the ends off. Cut the ends off each potato. And then you're going to just peel it back. You're going to peel all of that off. And I'll peel it and peel it all the way off on both potatoes. And then I'll show you what's next. Okay, I'm showing you here where I've peeled my potatoes all the way around, took the skins off, laid them to the side, and cut any other undesirable spots off that you see. Okay, and this is a very important step right here that I've learned from my grandmother. And once you cut the peeling off, when I boiled them, it took about, for 2 potatoes, it's going to take about 30 to 45 minutes. But it just depends on the size of the potato. As you see, I have 1 large potato and then kind of a small. So this will be for 1 pie. Okay, so once it's done and you've peeled it, this step is very important because no one wants a stringy sweet potato pie. It's nothing worse than a stringy sweet potato pie. So this will avoid any strings in your pie. So don't try to shortcut this. I've tried it and it's a disaster. After you've done all this work, you don't want your pie stringy. Okay, you take a knife and you cut it about an inch. across. You do each potato. Just cut it. Don't cut it the long way. Cut it the short way. Okay? So it'll look like this when you cut it. This is a trick that I learned after trial and trying to take shortcuts, but my grandmother said you can't take shortcuts with this. Okay? And this is how it will look. This is how your potatoes will look when you get ready to blend. I'm going to transport these to my bowl, transfer them to the bowl for mixing. Okay, here's my potatoes transferred to the bowl. So now I'm just going to blend them. And I'm going to keep blending them, and I'll be back to show you how they should look on that next spin. Hold on. Okay, I blended it, and what I'll do is probably about 7 times I'll do this. See those long strings on there? You don't want that in your pie. So on the side, I'll get me a little bowl, and I will fill it up with water, halfway with water, and then I will just go in here and run my shake those little strings off. And I'll do that about 7 times at least, till you don't see any of those strings hanging on your blender. So keep blending until you don't see any strings. Blend and then clean your blades in there. And blend and clean your blade. Just go back and forth till you do it 7 times. Okay? I'll be back. Okay, here I am about number 4, and you can still see the strings. So I'm still blending. And in between your blends, you're going to blend about 3 minutes, and then clean your blenders in the water, and then come back and blend another 3 minutes. Do those sessions 7 times. Okay, that's my butter and my dry ingredients. Now I want to add, since this is just one pie, normally I make more than one pie, but since it's just one pie, I'm going to add 1 egg. And then I'll add my milk, my Carnation milk, to the batter as needed. I'll show you what consistency, because it's hard. I don't measure hardly anything, but I'm trying to have it measured out for you. So I'm going to start out with a little milk after I add my egg. Just add your egg and beat it real good in there. So I'll be back there before I add the milk. Okay, now I'm going to just add just a little salt to it. About a 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And then I'm going to see the consistency. I'll stir the salt in there. And you can see how the filling is forming. That's what you want, this consistency. Okay? Like that. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. And then I'm going to add a little milk. So just stand by and I'll show you the consistency and how much I've actually used. Okay, I stirred in my vanilla extract. Stir it in. And then you see the consistency of it. I don't want it too runny in my pie. So that's the consistency. So I'm going to add just a little milk. I'm starting out with a 1/2 cup, but I'm going to probably only use a 1/4 maybe. Put in 1/2 of that. And then I want to blend that in there and see what it looks like. you know, the consistency. I think 1/4 cup is gonna do instead of 1/2. Because it all depends on your potatoes. Some potatoes you have a larger, and so it's kind of hard to be exactly correct on measurements. As you make it, you'll just learn what you want, the feel of your consistency. And that's about what I want. And you can add more cinnamon or more nutmeg, your taste, whatever your taste desires. But this is about how you want your consistency to look like and to be. So you can put this in a container and freeze it until you get ready the morning of you getting ready to use it. Just thaw it out and let it thaw out on its own. Don't rush it. And then just put it in the pie filling. Stir it up before you put it in your pie. Just, you know, get it out the container and put it in a bowl and just kind of stir and wake up those spices and ingredients in there. And then just put it in your pie. And like I said before, the pie crust is posted on my channel page for homemade pie. And you'll bake this in a 350 oven. And you'll bake it. Don't make sure your racks are not too high in your oven. Just middle rack. And bake it for about an hour. Or until you can stick a toothpick down in there and you get it comes out clean. But this is how you make sweet potato pie filling. It's a job, but it's very rewarding when you taste it with a cup of coffee, a slice of it. So be sure to comment on it. I've tried my best to explain it as best I can with I'm trying to videotape it too and add the ingredients today. So just be sure to comment and let me know, and let me know for sure if you make it and how it tastes and what your family think of it. I know a lot of us are not gathering this year, but you can still do that special for preparing and sharing. So be sure to share your meals with someone who's alone, or you know, a friend, a family member, or just someone that's God puts on your heart to share a meal with, or dessert with, or just share. You don't have to gather due to the virus that's in place, but we can still give thanks to God and thanks for friendship and family. So I hope you enjoyed it, and be sure to taste it with a cup of coffee. And I'll talk to you later. Love, love.